0-1. Chopper toward third. Mendez fires over toward first. A late play. They got him! For the first time since 2022, the Hillcats are going to the postseason! They outraced the rain all afternoon, and Lynchburg leads atop the Carolina League North.
Jason Prill on call for the Lynchburg Hillcats. That is the big storyline we got to talk about today, and we'll dive on into everything around the Guardians minor league affiliates. Welcome back to Prospects of the Land. Taven McCauley. I am Nate Bope. Oh boy, they did a lot more than just clinch the playoffs that day, Taven. A sweep, playoff clincher, and we're going to work our you-know-what's off to get at least one, maybe multiple Hillcat voices on this show in the coming week.
Oh yeah, for sure. One heck of a week in general, not just those last couple games, but we came on here. You said at the minimum you needed a split. We end up with a sweep. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and not only for Lynchburg, just a big week all around for the affiliates. I think, Taven, for the first time this season, every single affiliate won their series. If you want to throw the banner up there, the people can read what happened while we talk about it. But first off, before we do that, we'll just small talk our way through it here. How are you? I know you are summer league stuff, and on top of that, I don't really know what else you're doing.
Yeah, doing good. High school sports stuff wrapping up, so got a little more time to watch the Hillcats, watch the rest of the affiliates. So obviously that's nice. So got some football stuff starting up here, just a little bit around the Stark County area.
This morning. Yeah, saw that this morning from you.
Yep, that's about it though.
Cool. Very cool. Who just oh, okay, good. They were very good. Yeah, so big week all around for the organization, period. If you are new to the show, usually what we do is we start at the very bottom with Lynchburg and move our way up to the top through Columbus. But because this is a little special, we're going to kind of break down the Lynchburg series in a much bigger way. Before we dive on into breaking down anything with the affiliates, though, Taven, I know you said in a previous pod you don't really watch much college baseball. You should have today, and hopefully, this game between UCLA and LSU that's kicking off right now is a good one as well. We had a no-hitter in the College World Series. Should have been a perfect game, but it ended up with a hit batter. Remember the name, Gage Wood out of Arkansas. A kid was shoving today, and a fastball that gets opponents to swing and miss more than 40% of the time. I don't think the Guardians are going to be in a good position to grab him. Maybe they could be, or actually, no, they won't be because of the upcoming draft position. If he falls, would love the Guardians to pick that guy up. He can shove. He was great today. It was great.
Yeah. Sent me over a text. I think I saw third time ever there's been a no-hitter in the...
Yep, third time ever.
Crazy.
And the first in 65 years, 1950 and 1960, which actually 1950, coincidentally enough, was the first year they started playing in Omaha. So there you go. Okay, let's waste no more time here. About 5 minutes into the pod. Again, normally start with Lynchburg, move up to Columbus because it's a little bit of a special occasion. We are going to start with Lake County, move on to Akron, then go to Columbus before we round out with the only one non-Ohio affiliate in Lynchburg because of their clinching series. So you start out with the Lake County Captains. Again, Taven, really, really good week for them. This was, again, these are two series here, with this one against the Dayton Dragons, and now the next one coming up against the South Bend Cubs, that you need to start winning some games and making up some ground. They were able to take 4 of 6 from Dayton. They won the first 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, in both one-run contests. Thursday, a little bit more high scoring, but also a one-run contest. So they were really winning those close games this year. Sometimes you lose close games. It's baseball. You lose on Friday 2-1, but bounce back, secure the series win Saturday, and just couldn't put bat to ball on Sunday, 4-1. But a big series win. Offense didn't necessarily explode this past week, but do have some home run hitters to talk about. Alfonso Rosario, how good has he been, huh? He slugged 2 homers this past week. And then Wilfredo Antunez, another guy that's been lighting it up for the Captains. He is there with 1 home run over this past week. And let's go ahead and start with Wilfredo Antunez. Really good week for him. 357 average, a 1.152 OPS, 714 slugging. Really good week for Mate Collado as well. He went 6 of 14 at the dish. Did only have 1 RBI, but got on base a lot of different ways. Had a 529 on base percentage, over a 1.1 OPS. And we have another 1. OPS this week in Esteban Gonzalez, 429 batting average with a 438 on base percentage. And again, the 1.009 slugging. Slow week again for Jason Chourio. Did not have a hit this week. Little bit, actually still a pretty solid week for Jonah Advincula. Went 4 of 15, did come around to score 4 runs, walked the strikeout ratio pretty even, stole a couple bases, splits look good for him there. Kyle Dernetti really struggled this week. Christian Knapsick continues to be in his slump, and then just sort of meh performances from the rest of the guys. So a little concerning that Jason Chourio isn't getting going, but as far as the hitting goes, Taven, even though they didn't light up the scoreboard, a lot of good splits to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bats the past couple of weeks have really woken up, especially in that West Michigan series. We saw that, but I think the biggest part of this Dayton series, win was, I would argue, the pitching. I mean, a great week of pitching that we haven't really seen out of this Lake County staff. I mean, you get a 3-2 win, 4-3 win. You lose the 2-1 game, but I mean, you only give up 2 runs there, 4-2. So, I mean, the pitching staff did their job this week. I think it was just, up to the bats to come out. And I think that's exactly what they did. I think those role players, just kind of stepped up when you needed them to, with Chourio doing his thing too. So I just think, it was a good week all around for a Lake County team, and you get 4 out of 6 and you're headed in the right direction, going into that second half.
Talk about some of those pitching performances. Matt Wilkinson, struggled in the runs and hits department, but struck out 12 guys in 10 innings of work across 2 starts this week. Hopefully that's a good sign that he's really starting to come back into his form. Only allowed opponents to hit 189 off of him. In terms of some other starts, Yorman Gomez was really, really good this week. Only allowed 3 hits in 5 innings across his start. Josh Hartle, also another scoreless start. You also did have Caden Favors and Jackson Humphreys. Sorry. Jackson Humphreys and Caden Favors struggled a little bit in their starts in terms of the run department, but the bullpen able to pick up a lot of the slack this week. Jack Jasiak, nothing in 3 innings, 6 strikeouts and 2 appearances for him. Kyle Scott was untouchable. Adam Tolik was untouchable. Robert Wiegelnick was untouchable. Really only the one guy out of the pen that struggled this week was Jay Driver, which is very uncharacteristic for him. Taven, it feels like the magic number for this captain's pitching staff is 4. When they allow 4 or less runs, it's going to end up being a pretty good day if the offense is on. I said that, again, going all the way back in May when they were playing Lansing and some of the other teams here in this Midwest League. I don't know why the heck I'm skipping on that. Lansing, Quad Cities. That was it. Remember, there was a period of time where Lake County had not given up more than 4 runs in like 13 straight games or something along those lines. I think it did get into double figures. So again, this week, you didn't allow more than 4 runs. Very, very good signs here from this Lake County pitching staff. You're going to have days where your offense doesn't work. But again, pitching staff, very nice to see. Taven, that magic number is 4.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I think it's out of reach at this point, I would say. You only have 1 week left.
West Michigan already clinched.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I think it's within this pitching staff. They're either all on or they're all off, in my opinion. I mean, like you've said, but when they're on, and the offense produces for this Lake County team. I think that's one thing, in my opinion, that they need to get better at just going into that next half. I think the offense has been consistent for the most part throughout the season. I think it's just been the pitching. We've seen Humphreys up and down, Wilkinson a little more downs than ups we would like, but again, up and down too. So yeah, it's just, I think, inconsistency with the pitching staff, and hopefully we see that switch, going into the second half. And Logan Petoskey might have him on next week. That's the plan. Live show. So it'll be interesting to see what he thinks about his Lake County squad.
Yeah, Lake County team that's been really weird to talk about this year. There are weeks we feel really good about this team and weeks that we just don't overall feel that great. So I'm very interested to see a man that's been around the organization in a lot more closer of a way that we have been this year, and to see what he thinks they need to improve going on into the second half. So you can look forward to that. They're 10 games back of first. Again, no shot to get into West Michigan. They've already clinched. But as we've said for the past couple weeks, you take second, you start to build some momentum against two of the bottom dwelling teams in the Midwest League. You feel pretty good about where you're at going into the second half. Akron, a massive week for them against Hartford for many reasons, but we'll talk about some of those other reasons after we touch on how they did in the series. Didn't start out that pretty. 3-1 loss on Tuesday, came back 1-6-2 on Wednesday, but then lost 4-2 on Thursday. And it just started out as one of those weeks where the bats weren't necessarily going to have it. Well, you get the shutout win Friday, you get a 7-1 win Saturday, and a 5-4 win in very, very close quarters on Sunday. And you're able to come away with a really, really good series win. And there were Ducks hitting all sorts of home runs all over the Hartford Pond here this week. Cameron Barstad, he slugged one. Jorge Burgos, Dion Frias, Angel Yanao, first double-A homer. Great to see from him. Cooper Ingle, Joe Lampe, who's been a machine lately, and then Guy Lipscomb in there as well. I mean, all of those guys hit at least, or I should say not at least, hit exactly one home run this week. Performer of the week, though, was Guy Lipscomb. 9 of 20, did have a 450 batting average, 1.126 OPS. You could even say Alex Mooney had himself a pretty darn good week, but I give it to Guy Lipscomb because he put in 3 runs. Alex Mooney did not have a single RBI, but hit 500, a 1.204 OPS this week. Joe Lampe continues to be a machine. 8 RBIs, more than double anyone else on the team this week, while going 5 of 18. Had the homer and a 1.046 OPS with a 278 batting average. And you look at the rest of these batting averages. I mean, 316 for Dion Frias. He got back to doing his thing with the bat that we've seen him do this year. Angel Yanao in 6 games played, 9 hits in 24 at-bats. 375 batting average, and his double-A week debut. Played a couple games against Chesapeake, but played all 6 games here against Hartford and was a machine. Cooper Ingle, 240. Even Cameron Barstad, the backup catcher, hit 200. Not too bad. Michael Turconi hit 300. Tyrese Turner hit 214. The Ducks were hitting it, man. They looked really good with the bat in their hands.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, I said it before, earlier in the season. I think once Bazana kind of went down with that injury, Kafis got moved up to AAA. A lot of these guys had to start, stepping it up. I think the star power was kind of gone from this Akron team that at the beginning of the year, they started off with, a ton of named talent. Now, they still have a ton of talent on this team, but these guys are really starting to take that next step, one of which, Guy Lipscomb, absolutely unreal. Over those last 10 games, he's been red hot, 14 for 37, 5 runs, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, stolen base, 4 walks. I mean, he's hitting 378, absolutely unbelievable. Joe Lampe, 3 home runs over the last 2 weeks as well. Another guy that's just been absolutely unreal, and that's exactly what this, Akron team just really needs at this moment, especially down the stretch. You're only a half game back now, so every one of these games down the stretch is extremely crucial. Like you said, Wednesday, Lampe was on absolute fire, 3 home runs. Fox had 3 RBIs. Fox had an RBI. Turner had an RBI. Again, everybody was hitting the ball. Ingle, Hanau, he had a great opening series in Hartford with this Ducks team. He had an RBI over there on Friday and on Sunday as well. Cooper Ingle, 2 RBIs on Saturday. Lampe, another 3 RBI game there on Saturday too. Burgos had the home run that followed up Lampe there too. So, these bats were just really clicking over the series.
There will be some sun and thunderstorms.
Can I help you? So here's the thing. My device, I'm not going to say it because it's going to turn on. My Amazon fill in the blank loves to turn on around this time every day and tell me what the weather is going to be for tomorrow. I don't care. I can look at my phone. I just don't care. So I need to figure out how to turn it off, because even when I'm recording stuff for YouTube, it jumps in and I do one take stuff. I don't edit stuff out. So I got to scrap the whole thing. And yeah, okay. Anyway, pitching staff for Akron this week, like the Bats, was also on fire. Trenton Denholm, 6 scoreless innings. Dylan DeLucia, really good double-A debut from him. He got brought up last week. 6 scoreless hits for him this week. Tommy Mace only allowed 1 and 5 walks, a little bit of a problem for him, but still did really good. Zach Jacobs got a start this week with, again, a transaction we're about to talk about later. He had 5 innings pitch and looked really good. Rodney Boone, 6 scoreless innings for him. And then the pen, Ross Carver, Zane Morehouse, Tyler Thornton, those are guys that struggled. Tyler Thornton, you can forgive a little bit, still trying to rehab. Jack Leftwich came back, and he looked pretty solid, much to your dismay, I'm sure. Carter Spivey came back and looked really good. Davis Sharp was good. I already talked about Rodney Boone at the start. Sean Rapp was really, really good this week. Jake Miller just continues to absolutely shove. He is absolutely insane. 3 games this week, 4 innings pitched, only 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. A lot of opponents that hit .077 off of him, which is just absolutely ridiculous. An Akron team that all around looked pretty darn good. Again, some days where the Bats didn't hit, but 4 out of 6 against Hartford is huge, because now with what Erie did in their series, I believe they earned the split in their final road series of the first half. Akron's only a half game back. And you talked about it last week, and now it looks like you're going to be right. That half game, especially if things work out here, could prove to be a very big blessing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just going back to the pitching staff real quick, DeLucia, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 5 Ks, no earned runs. One hell of a debut for, I mean, a guy who, he fell into that trap. He was, kind of up and down in Lake County. He had more ups and downs for sure, but again, a guy that you'd like to see more consistency out of. So that's huge, what he did there in Double-A. Again, Rodney Boone, absolute unit. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 Ks, no earned runs. And much to like the position side, like I said earlier, I mean, you're losing the star power, might you say, with that pitching staff. I mean, Davenport, Columbus, Austin Peterson, we'll touch on in a little bit. He just got the nod up to Columbus. So an Akron staff that they're just kind of trying to replace guys, and it's been working. Tommy Mace, like you said, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks. He had himself a day too. So gotta love what this pitching staff's been doing. The bullpen too, Sharp, Jacobs, Miller, scoreless out of the pen on Friday for that shutout on Hartford on Friday. So bullpen's been finding their groove too. Gotta love what the pitching staff's been doing. But now you go to what you said, that half game, and it's huge. I mean, I've been following this Akron team really closely for the last 4 years. Those half games in minor league baseball matter a ton, and it's really going to come down to it, because now it's just going to come down to whoever. If Erie wins more than Akron, then they're in. If we win more than Erie, then we're in. A split, it would go to Erie, obviously, but it's going to be an exciting week, and hopefully Akron can pull it out.
Yeah, just to remind everyone out there of the situation, going into last week, because of the disappointing series Akron had with Chesapeake, they sat a game and a half back of Erie. Well, they were going to need to make up some ground. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I know we've dogged on the Altoona Curve on this podcast. Look, man, they've really stepped it up this year. They earned the split against Erie, and since Akron won 4 of 6, if they would have won 5, they would have been able to take that lead in the division. But hey, I'll absolutely take the 4. Now you get a home series for Erie against Chesapeake and a road series against the Portland Sea Dogs for the Akron Rubber Ducks. It's going to be a very, very interesting week, like you said, but Chesapeake has been playing real good baseball lately. And they are a much better team on the road than they are at home. They are 10-20 at home. They are 19-12 on the road, are the Chesapeake Bay Sox. Going on the road in Erie is obviously different. But the way that things have played out right now, I mean, Chesapeake playing some good baseball. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Erie is 5-5. You're going to get an Akron team that's going to go on the road to play Portland. They're 3-7 in the last 10. Oh, and by the way, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, just to go on a side tangent, have been machines this year in the Eastern League Northwest. But when you talk about the Southwest Division, are the chances of Erie, or I should say of Akron taking more than Erie, are not necessarily at the highest percentage, but I believe it was Han Solo that once said, never tell me the odds. I think this is an Akron team that can absolutely do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, two teams that, Akron, Erie, they're pretty even. They're playing two teams that are pretty even. I mean, not Bowie, Chesapeake and Portland. Portland's only a game and a half better than Chesapeake. Obviously, they're in different divisions, so that, doesn't really matter in that sense. But again, kind of two equal teams against two equal teams. So it's going to be real fun to watch. Do I think Akron has it in the tank? Yes, but I think they have to play real flawless baseball. I think the pitching staff needs to be on like they were last week. Is it crazy to say you might have to get 5? Because I think Erie's going to take 4 against Chesapeake.
Let's ask that question again in maybe about 30 minutes. That's the big topic we're going to touch on today, is that AA playoff push. But we do want to move on to Columbus here real fast, not take up too much time with Columbus. Again, they're well out of this playoff race, but starting to build some good momentum. They also take 4 out of 6 against Buffalo. And look, Columbus, Taven, I think I figured out their formula. When they get those players down from Cleveland that just haven't really quite figured it out at the major league level yet, they got a lot of guys that, and this is the conversation we've had with Cleveland all season long, they got a lot of guys that deserve major league time, but they can't give it to everyone, and it shows in Columbus. Jhonkensy Noel got got sent back down to Columbus with his last minor league option. 10 hits, 25 at-bats, had 2 home runs, and hit 400. He was the player of the week there for Columbus, but we got some more home run hitters. Will Wilson, in his first full week back in AAA, 2 home runs and a .316 batting average. Kyle Datris, who did just get placed on the development list, we'll remind you of that later, had a home run before he did so. Petey Halpin, even though he only got 2 hits this week, 1 was over the fence for a home run. And then CJ Kayfus, 2 home runs for him this week. We'll touch more on CJ Kayfus a little bit later in terms of his numbers. So put CJ Kayfus, stick a little pin in it. Again, Jhonkensy Noel was great. Will Wilson was great. And before he got sent up to Cleveland, Will Wilson was tearing it up at the AAA level. We know what Jhonkensy Noel can do at the AAA level, and you just saw it again. Chase DeLauder, 5 of 17, 294 batting average with an .831 on-base percentage. Good stuff out of Chase DeLauder this week. And then a lot of other good bat performances all around, but the heavy hitters did their thing.
Yeah, like you kind of alluded to earlier, I mean, this team has, for your terminology, a lot of those quad A players. I mean, guys that
I stole that from Twitter. I'll be fully honest. I stole that from Twitter.
They're not major league players, but if you put them down to AAA, man, are they all stars and MVPs. Noel, great in big Columbus, going off down there. Jonathan Rodriguez, another one of those guys. He might be the greatest AAA player of all time, some may say. Will Wilson, all-star AAA guy, but it's kind of a reoccurring theme with some of these guys that we've seen. They go up to the major league level and they just can't translate it. And it's frustrating for a lot of the fans out there. I bet it is for these guys too. But I mean, you send them down to Columbus, they start really going. Second half, you got some of those guys down there, Will Wilson and Noel. This Columbus team can be pretty scary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just with the bats, too. With the pitching staff this week, things really started to get to a different level. And again, this is a pitching staff that now, at its full capacity with Austin Peterson coming up, looks really, really dangerous. Doug Nikhazy, in a game start. Again, he's starting to get back to what we are used to seeing Doug Nikhazy doing. Batting average to opposing hitters was not too great, but looked pretty darn good otherwise. Vince Velasquez looked really good in 5 2/3 innings in his start. Parker Messick was shut down in 4 2/3. across his start this week. Aaron Davenport was pitcher of the week for Columbus. Had a little bit of a walk problem, but in 9 2/3 innings, 4 hits, only 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts. You have the graphic for pitcher of the week. I'll let you throw it up because he is your boy.
Yeah.
Austin Peterson had himself a really good start, and a lot of these guys out of the pen. Zach Kent, Andrew Misiazek was really good. Matt Kruk, who I don't think got called up or down from anywhere. I think they just signed him to Columbus. And, hey, he pitched 2 games this week, and debut for him in the organization looked good there. Eric Sabrowski still trying to rehab from injury. Tanner Burns. Now you have Joey Cantillo down there and healthy. He got a start. It was just a little rehab start, only pitched 2 innings. So slowly working back into things is Joey Cantillo. But otherwise, some really good pitching performances. I know you want to talk about your boy on screen.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, Aaron Davenport, we knew what the dude could do, and we've seen it in AA, but gotta love to see it translating now. I knew it would happen, and I mean, he's just showing what he's capable of down there. Last 3 outings, 13.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 11 walks, 5 strikeouts with a 1.32 ERA over his last 3 starts. I mean, the dude has just been dominant, and I've been saying it last year. I mean, I thought he was the Cy Young award, as you might say, pitcher of the year in that Eastern League. He wasn't, but I mean, I love everything he's about. I think he's one of, if not the best prospect that we have in this organization. I've been saying it since the beginning of last year, and just got to love to see that translating at the AAA level.
Yeah, and again, pitching, big thing for Columbus. The bats really hit it off, and we're going to kind of jump out of order a little bit, change the graphics, but 2 players in the Guardians organization were named to the MILB Team of the Week. That was your first baseman from Columbus, CJ Kayfus. I saved his stat line for, I guess until right now. In 6 games played, he went 9 of 21 with 3 doubles, 1 triple, and 2 home runs. Came around to score 6 runs, also plated 6 RBIs, drew 3 walks, and here's his slash line. Average 429, OBP on base percentage 480, 952 slugging, and a 1.432 OPS. We'll talk about him first. Taven, CJ Kayfus just continues to do CJ Kayfus things. We rave about him. It's because he's spectacular.
Absolute animal. I mean, if there's one guy, in my opinion, that you're going to call up to the major league level, I think at this point it's got to be CJ Kayfus. I mean, the dude hasn't played a lot in Akron this year, hasn't played a lot in Columbus this year. Obviously, he was with Akron for the majority of last year, but hasn't played much time with Columbus. But I mean, he's killing it. If there's one guy, in my opinion, to bring up, it's got to be CJ Kayfus. I mean, you mentioned the dude can do it all. I mean, he's got power, he's got contact, he can play the field well. I mean, I don't see one flaw in this guy's game at all. I do think if they were to make that jump and send him up to Cleveland, I don't think he'd be the first baseman. Obviously, with Santana and Manzardo, we've talked about this. I think right field obviously is open for auditions at the moment, and I think he's got to be the leading candidate. But I mean, just absolute unreal. Dude can do it all around the field, and gotta love to see what he's doing.
Very, very close to a 5-tool player. If he can get stolen bases in his regime as well, just dynamite dog. Put the graphic back up 1 second because we'll talk about the Lynchburg series and really break it down. But there was another guy that got named to that list, and I actually want to find it there as well. Do you have the name in front of you? I apologize for not knowing this right off the bat.
I do not. Yes, I do. It is June. I'm going to butcher the June Iker Caceres.
Okay. Juniker Caceres was there as an MILB Team of the Week. He might actually be a guy that is in the I don't think he's in Lynchburg. He might be in the Development League.
He might be in Arizona.
Maybe that's why I got confused. Because, I knew it was Juniker Caceres.
He is, with the ACL Guardians.
Yeah, he's with the ACL Guardians. So, we'll tell you what Juniker Caceres did this week. He got one of the outfield spots. But, again, just looked really, really good in this past week. So I'm actually going to pull up those stats. Apologies for not having that ready. I don't know why I thought he was in Lynchburg. I knew he wasn't. So we'll pull up ACL Guardians real fast. Hey, this is a really, really good time. While we're doing this, we'll push it at the end of the show too. We have an Instagram page now. Yes, we do. We have an Instagram page. So go follow it. It's the same as the Twitter handle at Prospects, capital OTL. And here we go. So this past week for Juniker Caceres, 3 home runs and a 385 average, a 1.231 slugging, and a 1.731 OPS. Yeah, absolutely deserving of that Team of the Week nomination there as well. So again, I blissfully apologize for not having those stats up and ready to go. But Juniker Caceres out of the ACL Guardians. Didn't know that they named teams that or guys that weren't on a minor league team, but hey, you learn something new every day. He is a top 30 prospect, and probably going to see him hopefully in Lynchburg before the end of the season.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, with those stats, it's going to be tough not to move up. One heck of a week, and just like to see those guys getting some recognition once in a while. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We even did a whole segment on there. I think we mentioned his name as someone to watch out for. We are going to, so that was your award segment. We are going to go through transactions really fast. I already mentioned all of them, so we're just going to re-mention them again. Adam Tulloch went from single A Lake County, or I should say high A Lake County, to double A Akron in the middle of the week. Austin Peterson got nominated up from Akron to go pitch in Columbus. And then Kyle Datris, even after he had a home run this week, got put on the development list in Columbus. That made room for the Austin Peterson transaction. So now to the meat. Let's get to Lynchburg. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is probably, Taven, the one result. Feel free to agree or disagree with me that I just did not expect out of this series at all.
1000%. I mean, you look at Carolina, they're the 1 seed for a reason, and they've been playing great baseball all year. Obviously, you're not going to be in that spot if you're not, but talk about a Lynchburg team that just did every single thing right, in my opinion, this week. And it was just fun to watch. I mean, I know you're going to have a lot to say about it, but
Taven,
wow.
Taven, take away the graphic for a minute, and I will say this.
Yeah.
Right now, across the entirety of baseball, I'm talking all the minor leagues, all the rookie complexes, high schools, middle schools, the T-ball teams. There is no hotter team in baseball right now than the Lynchburg Hellcats. Sweeping right now the second best team in the Carolina League, and 9 straight wins for the Lynchburg Hellcats. I mean, Jordan Smith is that manager there. We're going to try to get him on if we can. We know Jordan Smith is a very busy guy, as all baseball managers are. What a job over this last week and a half. I mean, unbelievable. And his team is playing outstanding.
Yeah, and you mentioned that's where it starts. I mean, Jordan Smith, absolutely unreal job of this first half of the season. Gotta love to see what he's doing over there. But I mean, everything was working for this team. I mean, from pitching to, I mean, just the bats were on fire, the base running, Tommy Hawk obviously doing his thing, as always.
Put up the graphic. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and start with that.
60 of them.
He added 7 this week. And by the way, the first half is still not over. He's got 60, and we still got one more series to go. I mean, again, we continue to say it about this guy. And honestly, Taven, not that it's getting old or stale, but it's what you expect out of a guy like this, right? It's what you expect out of Tommy Hawk. And, I mean, yeah, he just added 7 more. No big deal.
I mean, yeah, I've said it every week. It's video game numbers. I mean, this is what people's Road to the Show character does, and he's just doing it just casually, single A level. I mean, 7 in a week. He's got 60 on the year. Again, like you said, the first half's not even over, so he could potentially get over 120 when, things are all said and done. There's just no words. I mean, this is the heart and soul of this Lynchburg lineup. This is the guy that's leading the way, and I mean, just absolute, it's just insane. I mean, the rate that this guy's able to steal bases. And like we mentioned before, it's not just stealing bases. The dude has a batting average. He's a heck of a fielder when he gets a chance. So he's an all-around player, and it's only going to be a matter of time till we see him in a Lake County uniform.
Taven, I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to go through game by game stuff first, or do you want to read off the bulk stats and then we can go through game by game?
Let's start game by game.
All right, so let's go to the game on Tuesday. It was a 5-1 win in which Lynchburg just kind of did everything right. And look, it wasn't the best game for a lot of the Hillcats' better hitters. Tommy Hawk was only 1 for 4, no stolen bases for him there in that game. But there were still some really darn good performances there. Luis Morejo, we'll talk about his overall week in a second because he was outstanding. Bennett Thompson got an RBI in there. And hey, things got a little bit dicey. It was only a one-run game there going into the 6th inning. Well, Luis Morejo, his first home run of the week, put the Hillcats, or I should say extended the Hillcats lead for good, 4-1. Welbin Francisco would add one in the bottom of the 7th, and a 5-1 win there on Tuesday. That marked the 4th straight win. Let's go ahead and go on now to your 3-2 game. Carolina took their first lead in the series here. A 2-run top of the 2nd, in which Edgardo Ordonez did hit a home run, his first of the year, by the way, on a fly ball to right field. It came around to score Tyler Rodriguez, but bottom of the 2nd inning, you get the guy in Luis Morejo to step back up. He hits his 2nd homer in as many days. They're tying that one. Then Jose Perea, hopefully I'm saying the name right in one of those 2 ways, tripled on a line drive to the right fielder in the bottom of the 5th. And then Luis Morejo's 2nd homer in the game, 3rd in the series, put Lynchburg ahead for good in the bottom of the 6th inning. And then pitching really took it from there. Really good performances all around in the pitching standpoint. It was Jervis Alfaro that ended up, having a really good performance there in that 2nd game, but Julio Zapata was the guy that shut everything down. You want to go back to the Tuesday game and talk a little bit of pitching. Absolutely great start out of Rafe Schlesinger. That's what you need to see out of the guy. Didn't go 5 innings, so didn't get the win. That one ended up going to Austin Aldiano. And hopefully I'm saying his last name correctly. He was the guy that gave up the homer, but only runs scored throughout the game there on Tuesday. Taven, you notice anything about the first 2 games, or you want me to keep just firing away?
Yeah, I mean, Luis Morejo, obviously that dude was the MVP of the first 2 games. You have the case for the entire series. Really sets a tone, 3 home runs, 2 in that 2nd game. Just unreal. And you love to see a guy like that just stepping up when it really matters. Like you said, pitching was on fire. Alfaro, he pitched a great game. Out of the bullpen. I believe he came out of the bullpen on Wednesday. Yeah. Or did he start? Yeah. Either way, 5 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits. Just great start out of him. And then Rafe Schlesinger, a guy who struggled at the beginning of the year, and he's complete 180. Dude has flipped the switch, and he has been an absolute animal. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts for Rafe Schlesinger. Just unreal. Gotta love to see that out of Rafe. And then the bullpen doing their thing on there on Tuesday in game 1. 5 innings pitch, combined 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Just all around, like I've been saying, just from the pitching to the hitting, everything was just clicking for that Hillcats team.
Well, you want to talk about everything clicking. Let's go to the game on Thursday because the 13-1 rout, listen to these box scores. Tommy Hawk, 3 for 3, also drew 2 walks, had 3 RBIs, 3 runs, and 3 stolen bases. That was the stat line for Tommy Hawk there in that Thursday game, but hold on, it only gets better. Welbin Francisco, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs, drew a walk there as well. Really good stuff. Nick Mitchell had a hit, really the one guy that struggled, the 2 guys that struggled, Luis Morejo, and then also that third baseman, Jeffrey Mercedes. But the bottom part of the order, fantastic. Bennett Thompson, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored. Ryan Cesarini, 3 hits, 3 out of 5, 3 runs scored. the DH for that game, Christopher Espinola, 2 of 4. Mijares, 1 of 3. Just absolutely phenomenal hitting all the way around. And the team was 8 for 20 with runners in scoring position during that game. You want to talk about pitching, you go ahead and give, again, this is kind of their bullpen game. When you bring in Jacob Zibin, it's kind of a bullpen game, but then you brought in Melquise Hernandez out of the pen, 5 innings pitched, and was a really, really good cat for you. Sean Hepner, Donovan Zach, able to finish out that dynamite win for you there on Thursday. Now, you knew Carolina was going to come back and have some fight in them, but the Hillcats able to take care of business 6-2 there on Thursday. Pretty solid day up and down. Again, Ryan Cesarini had a 3-for-4 day. Garrett Howe had a 3-for-4 day. You have 3 more stolen bases for Tommy Hawk after drawing 3 more walks. Again, some really, really good stuff. Sean Matson came out of the pen, pitched 5 really good innings, 6 strikeouts, and how big of a year has Sean Matson had for this Lynchburg Hillcats team? Absolutely phenomenal. Saturday and Sunday, things started to get a little bit dicey. Lynchburg needed 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning to beat Carolina there on Saturday. 7-5 was your final score in that one. Tommy Hawk went 2-for-4, Francisca 2-for-5, Mitchell 2-for-4, 3-for-4 for Jose Perea. We'll talk about him here later. He actually even stole a base in that game as well. A little bit of a mixing things up bullpen game there. Aldiano came on for the hold. McGuire came on for the save. Braylon Doty got rocked to start out this game, but the bullpen did its job. And again, these bats in that 6th inning, the bottom of the 6th, whew, man, here is how it happened. It was a 4-2 game entering that frame, and then Robert Lopez, backup catcher, 2-run homer to tie up the game. Jose Perea then ends up tripling. That scores a run after Yaikel Mijares got on base. Tommy Hawk hit a double. That scored Perea. And then Nick Mitchell singled on the line drive. And you know, with Tommy Hawk's speed, second to home, he could walk that and easily get home on a line drive single. 7-4, your final score 7-5 after a Filippo Dituri homer. And then your game on Sunday was probably the closest one yet. And again, just an absolutely flawless game. The Hillcats, again, another beauty from Rafe Schlesinger to start it out. Zapata ended up getting the win. Julio Zapata, again, really, really good stuff from him. You did have Donovan Zach give up the 1 run in the top of the 7th after Lynchburg scored 2 in the bottom of the 1st. And there were a lot of jams in the late innings of that game, but Lynchburg was able to get out of it. Some late plays, some low throws, and just what you could consider sloppy baseball down the stretch. But overall, man, heck of a job from this Lynchburg team. Heck of a series. I think you went through a couple of them already, but any final thoughts before we get into some final slash lines? Because a lot of these numbers are just outstanding. We'll start individually, and then we'll go with what Lynchburg. Actually, no. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Let's go what Lynchburg was able to do as a team first and foremost. So we talked about how this Carolina team, Taven, was an absolute hitting machine. Filippo Dituri, dangerous. Jesus Made, dangerous. When you take a look at what this pitching staff was able to do in terms of bat, Carolina only hit 192. For a team that leads the Carolina League, still on the season in overall batting average, I do believe.
And that was the one thing that
now they're second behind. Now they're second behind Kannapolis, but regardless, 192. This pitching staff was outstanding.
And when we previewed that series, I mean, that's what we were talking about, the bats of Carolina, and that's what we were kind of worried about. That's the one thing that they couldn't get going. So, I mean, that in my opinion, that was the biggest contributor to why they got swept.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you just want to flip it and talk about this offense. Almost a 300 team batting average for Carolina this week. 298, which was by far and away the best performance out of anyone in the Carolina League this past week. Let's dive into some of the hitting splits. Again, Luis Morejo, 3 home runs in the first 2 games. He hit .316 with a 1.223 OPS, 6 of 19, was absolutely outstanding, team high 7 RBIs. You did have Ryan Cesarini, who posted a 1. OPS exactly. He was 6 of 14 with a .429 average, 3 stolen bases for him. Robert Lopez, as I mentioned, hit the homer. 500 batting average in only one game from Christopher Espinola. He went 2-4, but still a good day. Welbin Francisco continues to shine. 333 batting average, went 8 of 24. Tommy Hawk, 6 of 19. Was again outstanding on the base paths as well. Garrett Howe, 5 of 11. You had a 5 of 22 performance this week from Nick Mitchell. Jose Perea, who only played in 2 games this week, hit 714 with a 2 flat OPS. Again, only played in 2 games, made a massive impact, had 2 triples this week. Bennett Thompson, 6 of 18, hit 333 and 8.44 OPS. And again, Taven, it wasn't just Tommy Hawk that was great on the base pass. Nick Mitchell, he stole 4. Garrett Howe stole 3. Welbin Francisco stole 3. And Ryan Cesarini stole 3 as well. A couple other guys stole 1. Tommy Hawk leads all minor leagues in stolen bases. Lynchburg as a team leads all of baseball in stolen bases. How about that, huh?
Yeah, and again, I mean, that's what this Lynchburg team does. They play small ball, and it really works. They run the bases well. They put the ball in play, and that's how they kill you. And it just goes a long way to what I've been saying about this past series when they played Carolina. I mean, just everything went right, from pitching, from hitting, from base running, to literally everything. The only part of this series that was shaky and wasn't great was Braylon Doty's start. But I mean, the bullpen picked him up and you still got the win in that game. So at the end of the day, it didn't really mean anything.
Right.
So like you said, I mean, the batting average is unreal, 298 as a team. That's, I mean, unheard of, and especially against the best team in your division. Just everything went right, and it was just one heck of a series.
When you take into account just how they held this Carolina offense, I mean, unbelievable. Like, when you take a look at, again, the guys that hit, Filippo Dituri, Luis Pena, Jesus Made, all guys that we were really worried about coming into the series. Dituri still had his fair share of hits, hit 273, but struck out 7 times. Braylon Payne struck out 12 times. Gary Holguin struck out 13 times. Luis Pena still got his fair share of hits, but really was silenced in terms of RBIs and runs scored. Good job of getting him out of jams. Jesus Made still got his hits, but again, not many RBIs or runs scored. So Taven, from the looks of it, I mean, the guys still got on base that were going to get on base. Dituri still had a good week. Pena still had a good week. Made had a good week individually, but the rest of this team could not drive runs home.
Yeah. I think
you attribute that to Lynchburg.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lynchburg just, that pitching staff, it's great. And I mean, they're really stepping it up at the right time. So
it was unbelievable this
like
week.
you said.
The strikeouts were amazing. The batting averages to opposing players, again, besides Braylon Doty, look pretty darn good for the most part across the board. Starts were great from Schlesinger in a double bump week, Cam Waltzy and Jacob Zibin, and again, those sort of 2-inning starts. Lynchburg does it really, really bizarrely. They get the 2-inning starts. You bring a guy in out of the pen like a Sean Matson, who again pitched 5 beautiful innings this week. Same thing with a guy by the name of Melquise Hernandez. We were worried about Melvin Hernandez for Carolina. No, Melquise Hernandez was the star this week. 5 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts. Again, another one of those situations where he came out of the pen, didn't start, but still had really good performances. Julio Zapata was great. Yudri Alcantara was great. Xavier Martinez was great. Luis Flores, 2 save opportunities, got them both. Logan McGuire, save opportunity, got it. Just an overall unbelievable week. And this Lynchburg team is playoff bound.
For sure. And I mean, personally, one of the most impressive things, yeah, obviously the sweep's going to be number 1. Yeah, you fought all the way back from, being that 3rd, 2nd seed. Now you're, playoff bound. But you swept Carolina without your ace, Jogly Garcia. I mean, kind of talk about that down the stretch. I mean, talk about guys stepping up. I mean, Melquise, like Hernandez, he's become that essentially new ace while Jogly's been out. Rafe, double bump. I mean, Jogly would have filled one of those spots, but what does Rafe do? puts the entire first half of the season behind him.
My goodness.
And he's just a new guy. So, I mean, I think that's one of the most impressive things about this series win for me personally.
57 hits this week, 9 doubles, 30 RBIs, 30. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong stat line. 24 stolen bases this week. The slash lines for the team overall are insane, and they clinch. They don't need to. They can do whatever they want in this final series. They've clinched, and it is just absolutely astounding. It really, really is.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I mean, essentially this next half of the season doesn't mean anything. Obviously, they're gonna go on, still play tough baseball. I think a lot of these names aren't going to be there come playoff time. Obviously, Tommy Hawk, they're going to have to just not having him. But then again, a lot of these new draft picks that they're going to have coming in, they're going to be with the team come playoff time. So obviously, got a long road ahead. We're only in June, but it's going to be fun come September.
Yeah, that final series they have is going to be against Augusta, but you can blow it all away. You can lose all 6 games, even though that would not be preferred. Please don't do that. Please don't. They're still going to make playoffs. And, I mean, you take a look here. You want to continue this 9-game win streak that you're on. Augusta's 3-7 in their last 10. But they are fighting for their own playoff spot. They're 2 games behind Columbia for that Carolina League South Division lead. It's them, it's Charleston, it's Kannapolis, and Columbia, even as well as Hickory. Taven, pull up these Carolina League South standings. They are tight. 2.5 games separates 5th place from 1st place. The only team out of the running in that division is Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, wow. They're all tight. Do you want me to throw it up?
You can. You can, absolutely. Throw up the entire thing. Throw up the North and the South. Just do it all.
All right, give me 1 second.
Yeah. While he's pulling that up, I mean, I'll just, ad-lib. It really is outstanding what Jordan Smith and these Lynchburg Hellcats have been able to do. Tommy Hawk has been a stud. The pitching was on fire. The hitting was on fire. This team is on fire. Again, Carolina coming into the week had scored the most runs in the Carolina League up to the point. Lynchburg is now tied with Carolina for that mark, and that's a part to what their offense has done, what their pitching staff was able to do against Carolina. Now you have to go on the road and play an Augusta team that's trying to fight for their playoff lives. But, I mean, take a look at those standings right there. If you want to take away actually don't even take away the banner. Myrtle Beach. Out of it. Yeah, Myrtle Beach is out. It doesn't matter. Look at that Carolina League South, man. That is absurd. So this is a Lynchburg team. You've already clinched the first half. Taven, it's still important to carry over this momentum. It is vital.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't want a team to ever go cold necessarily at all. You got to play like you're still fighting for a spot. Obviously, that second half and most of July and August isn't going to mean anything for the standings wise. I mean, obviously, you're still playing the move up through the ranks of the system and whatnot. So guys are obviously still going to be playing hard. It's not like they're just going to be throwing games away. But you still got to continue this momentum, ride it through the year. And once you get to September, obviously, you got to be ready to play your best brand of baseball. So.
Taven, if you want to take away this graphic and if you pull up that same standings pages, I mean, look at some of the series we're going to have in the Carolina League this week. Lynchburg versus Augusta, that's 1st in the North, 2nd in the South. That's going to be a great series. How about Carolina versus Columbia, 2nd in the North and 1st in the South? That's going to be a really, really fun series. Really fun series. And then Charleston and Kannapolis, 2 teams that are tied with the exact same record fighting for a playoff spot. Probably more than likely are going to beat each other up, and they could knock each other out of the playoff race. I mean, it's going to be an unbelievable week in the Carolina League. It's going to be an unbelievable week.
Yeah, single A baseball, in my opinion, and I think you probably would agree, has been the funnest to watch.
It's been
the best to watch. I mean, out of all. I mean,
we're a little biased because our team is on top of the standings right now.
Right, but I mean, still the competition, everything's close. I mean, everybody's got a real shot, and they've had, in my opinion, a real shot all year. It's been fun. It's been close, and just glad that we're on top of it.
Yeah, it's been so good. It's been so much fun. And we are really, really happy for Jordan Smith and for the entirety of this Lynchburg team. Again, we will work our what's off to get some people on. I'm not going to spoil who that is, but again, we're working on getting some people here to come on podcast, maybe in the middle of the week, maybe on the weekend. If they're comfortable, they might do it live with us on Monday. All right, Taven, next topic of conversation we got to get to. This Akron team. They are the other one that's in the playoff running. Columbus out of it mathematically, I'm pretty sure they are. Lake County also mathematically out of it. So they're just worried about building momentum. Akron can still win the first half. And
they got a heck of a shot to
they got a heck of a shot. But last week, it looked fairly uncertain that they were going to go be able to do that. Now, they got themselves a pretty darn solid shot. Again, you have to go on the road and play Portland. They are out of the running in the Eastern League Northwest. So because the Binghamton Rumble Ponies have been rumbling through the Eastern League this year, thank goodness Akron hasn't had to play them yet. They've been an absolute machine. But as far as Portland goes, 3-7 in their last 10. The series doesn't really mean much. They are also 3-9 against teams above 500. Now, Akron is 6-6, and both of these teams are above 500. But Erie, after earning the split with Altoona, which, again, they were in position to even win the series, keep that game-and-a-half lead, and they weren't able to keep it because they lost that Sunday game. Again, Taven, we're going to hammer it home one final time here. That half game now is huge.
Yeah. If anything, I'd rather it be a half game than us be tied. I know it's crazy to say that, but the way that these things work out, I mean, I've watched it for 4 years. It's easier to clinch when you're half a game behind than if you were tied. It's weird the way how that works out, but at the end of the day, you just got to win more than them now. And if you do that, you're going to be in a good spot. And is it possible? Yes. Is it going to be tough? Also, yes. I mean, it's a Portland team that they're battling 500. I mean, they're a solid team. They have been all year.
And Boston's just an organization that's loaded with the next wave of prospects. Look at all the guys they got called. Hey, Rafi Devers getting traded too. Were you surprised by that?
I want to say yes, but not really. Just from what we saw with
the
Betts trade.
Like I was like, meh. It was whatever. It was. Yeah. I didn't think it was, that surprising. He didn't do himself any favors within the organization. And again, they just get more prospects to add to their pool now. But when you take a look at guys that are starting to hit pretty darn well for this Portland Sea Dogs team, they hit 5 home runs in total this past week. Zach Earhart is a really, really good outfielder. Alon Castro is a really, really good outfielder. It really is their outfield that leads the bats. But I mean, Carson Simas, Marvin Alcantara, those are all guys that hit it out of the park this past week, not in terms of home runs. They were just really, really good. Drew Earhart. Do they have the Earhart brothers on this team? That's rare in minor leagues. Hold on a second. Zach and Drew Earhart. Ehrhard. We got a pair of brothers in Double-A baseball
team?
On the same team. That's crazy, man.
That is.
You never see that, ever. In terms of pitchers for the team this year, you're going to be looking at...
They got a heck of a staff.
Yeah, they got a heck of a pitching staff. Connolly Early is great. Dalton Rogers is great. Jack Anderson out of the pen is lights out. Hayden Mullins had a shutdown start this past week. And then a ton of guys in this bullpen that can absolutely shove it. These guys are great. They really are a very competitive team. Taven, when you actually take a look, I just lost it. Why did you go away? At their expected win-loss total, Portland actually is 30-31. That surprises me. It feels like this team should have a lot better record than what they do.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is from what the record that they probably should have, pitching staff. I mean, it's unreal. I'm going through their top 30 prospects right now. They only have one bat in Double-A in that top 20. It's Mikey Romero, shortstop and second baseman. He's good, but I mean, you look at his pitching staff. The number 4 prospect,
called up.
Number 4 prospect, Luis Perales, dog. Number 9 prospect, David Sandlin, dog. And their number 10 prospect, Con Eli Early, absolute dog.
Yeah,
I mean, these
Connolly
3
Early.
guys are absolutely unreal. 3 in the top 10. It's going to be tough, but these Akron bats are where they need to be. Lipscomb's been crazy hot. Lampy, he's been crazy hot. So, I mean, a lot of guys that they're in the right spot at the moment, but it's going to be a struggle to get some hits off these guys.
You want something else crazy too, though? There was a guy that pitched last week for the Portland Sea Dogs. His name is Blake Wehunt. See if you can find him in that top 30 ranks. He did not start a game this past week for the Portland Sea Dogs, but out of the pen in 1 appearance, 7 innings of work, 4 hits, only 1 earned run, and struck out 13 batters. Oh my goodness.
And he's a bullpen arm or a starter who came out of the bullpen?
That seems like a starter that comes out of the pen. You don't see stuff like that unless you're in college.
That's a Trenton Denholm.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is their 25th ranked prospect on
put him
MILB
higher
pipeline.
after that week. Oh my goodness. And again, even some of the other names that I mentioned off there, Dalton Rogers, who I don't think I mentioned, had a really, really good week. Noah Song out of the pen was shut down. Christopher Troy out of the pen was shut down. This is a Portland Sea Dogs team that, again, Taven, I would let Akron be wary. This is a team that I know they're struggling right now. I'll take a look at their schedule here and take a look at what they've done. But this is a Sea Dogs team that I think is a lot better than what their record says they are. They got a lot of really, really nice pieces. Last week, they actually played 7 games against Somerset. And when their pitching staff is not great, they don't really have much of a shot. They lost 8-1 and 9-2 in a doubleheader, the second leg on Wednesday. Even going back, they lost 5 of 6 to the Hartford Yard Goats a couple series ago. They were able to turn it around and win 3 of 7 against Somerset, but now they're coming back home. Now, Portland is not a fantastic team at home. They're exactly 500. They're 13-13. Run differential is an overall negative, and Taven, it's because sometimes this offense, it's an Akron problem. Sometimes they just can't hit.
Yeah, like you said, I think that's going to be the biggest thing to look for in this matchup. It's going to be Portland's pitching against Akron's hitting. And if Akron can get ahead, I think they're going to have no problem shutting down those batters with the pitching staff. I mean, Portland's not a team that necessarily hits the ball well. I think they're more focused on that pitching staff. They got guys, they got starters, they got obviously guys out of the bullpen, like we were talking about. Wehunt, I believe his name is. Yeah, and just to read off what this dude listed at, he is listed at 250, 6'7".
That's
250, 6'7".
That's a unit. And if he's coming out of the pen, stop. That is ridiculous.
But
that is
I mean,
unbelievably unfair.
You look at it, I think it's just going to be Akron. Can they get those bats going against that Portland team? If you can get out ahead of them, I think you're going to have no problem. But it's, can you get to those pitchers? And I think that's the biggest thing that we're going to have to watch just going into the series.
You also have to watch Erie, and that's the other part of this conversation. Yeah. I agree with you. I think as long as Akron can hit and be able to get to this pitching staff, I think Akron's got a really good shot to take at the very least 4, if not maybe even 5 games, which you said they might need to. This is an Erie team that's playing 500 baseball right now in Chesapeake, has been playing some good ball as of late, but Taven, this is where the mismatch comes in. Erie has the best pitching staff, well, the second best pitching staff to the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the second best pitching staff in the Eastern League. Chesapeake has the worst offense in the Eastern League, not by much. Richmond's only scored 2 more runs than them, but this is a Chesapeake team that just cannot score a lot of runs. For whatever reason, they just can't.
Yeah, and they played us well, so hopefully.
But they played Akron well without scoring a lot.
Yeah, and hopefully they can just do that same thing, because we're relying on them big time as well. And at the end of the day, we just need one more game against Erie. But it's a talented Erie team, man, and it's going to be really tight. And I think it's probably going to come down to Saturday or Sunday. I don't think any team pulls away until then.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely have to agree with you. I'm taking a look at Chesapeake's recent schedule because, again, they've been playing some good baseball. In the series against Harrisburg, they scored no more than 6 runs. And again, in the series against Akron, they scored no more than 4 runs, but won 3 of the 5 games that they got played. So again, this is an offense that just doesn't score a lot, but it is a pretty solid pitching staff. That's going to be really, really difficult when you look at this Erie offense that has scored 340 runs. Not only do they have a really good pitching staff, they have the best offense in the Eastern League by far and away. It is not even close. Just not close.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the Chesapeake pitching staff that better be on for Akron's sake. They better be on.
And they were when they played us. So, I mean, pitching is really one of those hit or miss things that you see in the minor leagues. It's just going to come down, in my opinion, all around. In both games, it's going to be pitching. It's going to be pitching, and whose pitching can, just sustain and be good.
Speaking of which, there was a lot of pitching in game 1 of the College World Series. There's not much in the second game. Bottom third, it's a 4-3 lead for the LSU Tigers right now. If you are into such things, maybe you're listening to the podcast and have it on the TV. I love watching collegiate baseball, but Taven, let's talk a little bit of guard ball. The results on the field have not been great. This team has now slipped down to 500. How likely is it now, do you think the Guardians become sellers at the deadline?
I think it just really depends on where you stand come the deadline. I mean, I think June is really too early to tell. I mean, a lot of people are said, I think the Guardians are going to become sellers. I think Santana's gone. I think Lane Thomas is gone. I've heard a lot of it. And I mean, it's kind of tough to not agree with that. I mean, if you were to ask me right now, I think Santana and Lane Thomas would probably be gone and they would be sellers at the deadline and just kind of reload with your young guys and see what you have. But again, it's too early. I think with Bieber coming back, it's the Guardians. They play guard ball. They can go on a run. They can win 10 out of the next 12 if they just flip that switch. So I just think it's really just going to be, are you in that wild card race? I don't think there's a shot you catch Detroit now. No. Do I think Detroit keeps playing this good of a brand of baseball? No, I think they'll start to slip a little bit, but that's not going to be enough to catch them. They're still one heck of a team. Scooball's the best pitcher in the league, no doubt about it. They're just a unit, but it's that wild card race. You're in it. There's about 5 teams with you. I just kind of checked, but again, Minnesota,
so many teams in that.
Minnesota and the Royals have been losing too. You're right there with them. It's not like everybody's pulling away. So I think it just depends on where you're at in August. Or when's the deadline? It's the first week of August, right?
Yeah, it's pretty far into the season. So,
but wherever you stand, I think, you're maybe less than 5 games out. I think you'd be, or more than 5 games out. I think you'd be sellers, but anything less, I think, you'd roll with what you have and just try to compete, because at the end of the day, you're not locked in with any of these guys long-term that you would deal. You're not going to get much for them. So I really don't see a true reason to just sell.
I would agree with you. Not right now. It very much so depends on where they are now. If this wild card race becomes a little bit more top heavy than it is right now, which, knowing the American League and the way it's currently stacked up, I doubt it. I doubt it's going to get very top heavy. But you made an excellent point. Everyone around the Guardians is also losing. Obviously, the Mariners just swept them, so they made up some ground. The Red Sox did really good things against the Yankees, so they've made up some ground. But the Rangers have still continued to struggle. The Twins have continued to struggle. The Royals have continued to struggle. The Angels have continued to be an up and down team this year. They overall have continued to struggle. The only 2 teams that really have been winning a lot of baseball games lately is Tampa Bay and Toronto, and even Toronto is on a 3-game losing stretch. Kansas City's lost 6 in a row. LA's lost 3 in a row. Minnesota's lost 4 in a row. Again, Red Sox, Rangers, they're starting to make up some ground. Seattle with the big sweep, that was massive for them because their bats were in a slump. So they're in this thing, Taven. Don't let that fool you, though. This team does not look good right now. They just don't look good.
Nothing about them.
It is the pitching staff, for the most part, apart from the Luis Ortiz start the other day, and maybe a couple others here and there, for the most part, has been pretty solid. These bats can't get anything going. Nothing. The only bat that's been consistent is Jose Ramirez, and that's a very big problem.
And you know how much I don't like the guy, just by like a just production prospect or perspective out of it. But Nolan Jones has been on fire in June.
Yeah,
so I would say he's been one of the only guys too. But like you said, I mean, the pitchers. I mean, I guess maybe not what you said, but in my opinion, I don't think the pitching staff has gotten anything going. I mean, Ortiz has looked terrible. Gavin Williams, I think, threw like 100 pitches in the third inning in that start in Seattle. I know he was at like 65 in that third inning. It was just struggle, and then he kind of imploded there. Bibby's really hit or miss. All of a sudden now, I think obviously he's one of your better guys, but it's just been a struggle. I mean, some of these guys out of the bullpen too, they haven't been great. I mean, Gaddis is getting a hit here and there, just guys like that. And the only bright spot of this team is Jose Ramirez. And I do have to check Guardians Prospective real quick because I thought I saw something about Kwan like avoiding the injured list, so he might be banged up too or something of that nature.
They're going to hope that they can rest him because, again, he's been out of the lineup a lot more than usual. So I think there's something nagging Stephen Kwan. Break for sneeze. Hey, sometimes you gotta sneeze. It happens. Yeah, this is a really perplexing team to figure out because, again, fans are gonna say, we need to call up this guy, we need to call up that guy, and quite simply, it's just not that simple. It really isn't. Especially for an organization like the Guardians. If you want to throw in the service time conversation, go right on ahead. I won't listen to you, but do it. This is just such a perplexing organization to figure out right now. If they continue to slide, they will be sellers. That's a guarantee. They will sell a lot of these pieces, and they will have a very, very bright young core in Cleveland next season. And then the rest of the year would be build momentum, test out some young guys, change up the 40-man, do whatever. This season is still salvageable. For as bad as this team has looked for a lot of the season, especially offensively, they're a 500 team because they find ways to win. They need to get back to that.
And I think a big part of that's just going to be able to just bring prospects up. I think at one point or another, you kind of have to look at AAA and see what you have. And I think it's got to come now. I don't think we've seen a big call up. I mean, we've seen the fill-in Will Wilsons and, whatnot of that nature, but we haven't seen, in my opinion, I think Kafis is that next guy. I really do. I mean, I don't think you can keep platooning guys and seeing what you have. There's a spot that's open and you really need to get some production going. I'm bringing up Kafis at this point. I really am.
And again, the reason you even platoon guys is because you have a ton of guys that deserve major league time, but obviously you don't have enough lineup spots or, for the most part, time in a series to play all of them.
And with some of them, I would argue production.
Brian Rocchio is still down in Columbus.
Yeah.
Like, we have, again, there are so many guys that are just ready to come. I would find it hard to believe that Rocchio doesn't come up before July. I just find that hard to believe. Now, it very much so could happen, but I just find it hard to believe. According to the 40-man roster, Petey Halpin is actually that next guy up, but you could obviously change stuff around with the 40-man roster, put CJ Kafis on there, put Chase DeLauder on there, neither of which are on there, by the way. And again, with that right field spot, try him out. But again, Nolan Jones has been filling that void nicely. So you don't really need to try out the right field spot as of right now. Again, Jones, we'll see if that production continues. But Angel Martinez, it's still been good stuff from him. He's starting to get on that downward trend. Same thing with Gabby Arias. He's starting to get on that downward trend. Santana is still producing. Kwan is still doing his thing for the most part. Jose Ramirez is doing Jose Ramirez things. And if this team was any better, he would probably be taken more seriously for an MVP candidacy. This is a team to me that is just really, really perplexing. And to me, it starts out with the offense. Actually, even that last game against Seattle, or I should say that second game against Seattle, was the first time Cleveland had lost a regular season game when they had a lead going into the ninth since 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. So and again, the Colossae just had a blow up, and that's happened to Colossae a lot more than usual this year. Just a lot of really interesting things to figure out around this organization, around this team, but it has to start by getting the bats going. And I mean, Shane Bieber can't come back soon enough. You're going to probably win every game he starts.
Yeah, and it's got to be quick because, I mean, you can't keep slipping. If you do and you keep messing around, I mean, the Royals, they're not going to stay cold forever. They're a talented team. Same with the Twins. Same with, Toronto, all these teams that we, just kind of mentioned. And got to start winning ball games. We really do.
And it doesn't get any easier. They have a 3-game stint with the Giants. You're on the road for 3 games against the Athletics, which they've been struggling, but they're starting to play a lot better baseball as of late. And they have a very exciting young lineup led by Jacob Wilson. But then you're finally back home, right? You're in Progressive Field for 6 straight games against the Blue Jays and Cardinals to round out the month. The July is going to be really, really tough. But Taven, listen to the schedule after the All-Star break. Athletics at home, Orioles in a 4-game set at home. Then you're in Kauffman. You get the Rockies at home to close out July. Then you have the Twins on the road at the Mets, on the road at the White Sox, the Marlins, the Braves, who have really struggled this year. You get to go face Josh Naylor in Arizona. You're on the road at Texas. You have Tampa Bay, back with Seattle into September. The Red Sox, Rays, Royals, White Sox, Tigers, Twins, Tigers, Rangers. This schedule gets considerably easier after the All-Star break. Someone put out, it might have been Cleveland Menace on Instagram. No, it definitely wasn't him. It was someone. Someone put out that as long as this team can get to 500 before the All-Star break, you feel pretty good. I'd like a little bit more than that. I'd like maybe 6 to 7 games above 500 going into the All-Star break, because Taven, that stint after the All-Star break in July, where you have the A's, the O's, the Royals, and the Rockies, you can rip off wins. You should be able to rip off some wins, and that's how you get right back into this thing. Right now, they have to find a way to tread water because they're starting to sink.
Yeah, and I think that's been the biggest thing that I've kind of said at the beginning of the year. I think, you fly above 6, 7 games over 500 with Bieber coming back. I think that's the point you have to get to. Once Bieber comes back, I think that's when things really start to turn around, because then maybe you can get Ortiz out of the lineup. And obviously Bieber, Cy Young, All-Star, dude, just, a beast, and he's going to lead that team. Now, obviously the bats have to –
Ben Lively hurt too.
The bats have to come around in a huge way. But I think once Bieber comes back and then you get to the All-Star break, things are going to get easier. Bieber's going to start leading you as he does. And I think that's when you really start to turn things around. So if you can just ride that wave, stay consistent now, again, 6, 7 games above 500, like you kind of mentioned, I think that's the sweet spot. And I think that's where you just want to be at the end of the day.
It feels very somber around Cleveland right now. It just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of excitement, and that's because the baseball team is not playing particularly well. Obviously, there's no Cavs basketball. There's no anything else going on right now. It's just Guardians, and they're all the way on the road, and they don't even have Tom Hamilton. Please, Hammy, we need you back. I think that's the good luck charm, because they did not win a single game in Seattle when Rosie was doing play-by-play. And I still like Rosie, don't get me wrong, but Hamilton's one of the best broadcasters ever.
Yeah.
I just got to find ways to keep building momentum. Look, the Giants just got even more dangerous with Devers. This is going to be a really, really hard series. That pitching staff led by Alex Cobb has been phenomenal this season. You've got to find a way to be able to, I think, at least take one. It's going to be really, really difficult. But you have a lot of days off on this road trip. You had the Thursday off, and now you have today off. 6 straight games in San Fran, and then you go down to Sacramento playing the AAA park to play the A's. Should be able to take 2 or 3 from the A's. But, Taven, if they can split the rest of this road trip, win 3 out of their next 6 games, keep that 500 mark, I'd feel okay going into that home series, but it will be a massive one at home against the Blue Jays.
And I would too. I think the biggest piece of this is you have to end it out strong. And obviously on the month out strong, and the Toronto series is going to be huge. So Just got to ride that wave. Can't go under 500. These teams are going to start winning, and it's just every game matters. It really does.
Really does. Would you have anything else to talk about around the Cleveland baseball rank? Once again, a congratulations to the Lynchburg Hillcats, and the only other team currently in the running for that first half playoff spot, the Rubber Ducks. Got to win more games than Erie this week. They do that. They clinch the first half. Did they clinch the first half last year? Did they win the second half?
Akron.
Yeah.
The first half, it came down to a half a game that they lost to Erie. Same thing that we're in now, and then Akron got the second half. I don't know if Akron got the second half outright or if Erie won it back to back. But again, if you win it back to back, then you are not.
I know it's gonna bother you, so I'll look.
Yeah, I want to say Akron won it outright, and Erie might have been second.
First half last year, actually, Erie was first, then followed by Harrisburg, and then Akron.
That's right. Harrisburg was in there because Dylan Cruz just had like the week of his life down the stretch. I remember that.
Right. And then second half was Akron won outright by 3.5 games. They were a machine in the second half.
They were.
But they really struggled on the road. Fascinating.
And in the playoffs.
Well, you had to play Erie. So
yeah.
And Erie owns us, unfortunately.
We'll see. Hopefully we break that streak.
Overall stats, Akron actually had a better series than Erie, but because we didn't even talk about this, Taven, to close out the show. Again, we'll say it one final time, a congratulations to the Lynchburg Hillcats. We'll probably say it again when we get the Hillcats players and or coaches on here. They now get home field advantage in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if the second half team has a better record than they do at the end of the year or a better second half record than Lynchburg had first half record. You win the first half. It is crucial because then you get home field.
Yeah.
You get home field.
The way that works is game 1 will be away, and then games 2 and 3 you have at home. So it's huge. It really is.
And I think they're going to finish with a better record than anyone in the South Division in the first half. So that would mean they'd get home field during the final as well.
Yeah, so you got to finish strong.
Have to. All right, Taven, where can they find you?
First, we got to run down schedules.
Oh, I always forget that, don't I? Again, end of the first half, a lot going on. Let's run through that, shall we? All right, start from the top. We go to the bottom. Columbus, final series of the first half. You'll tell us where they are in the standings. They are at home to close things out against the Indianapolis Indians. Again, that's a team that's really, really good. I think they're trying to push for a playoff spot, but a chance for Columbus to build some more momentum. Your pitchers are TBD. We don't know yet. Where does Columbus sit?
Columbus 30-36 record, 14.5 out of first place. In Indianapolis, they are a half game back of first place, so they're fighting for something.
Big series there. We'll see if Columbus can rip the heart out of the Indianapolis Indians. For Akron, as we already touched on it, they're on the road against the Portland Sea Dogs. We'll see if their bats can come alive. We obviously know they're a half game behind Erie. 40-22 is where they sit. Got to win more than the Seawolves to be able to win that first half. Just no ifs, ands, or buts. You draw, Erie wins by half a game. Lake County is on the road in South Bend. I think I know they are 9 games back. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
10.
Okay.
Yep.
So it is Lansing. That's 9 games back of West Michigan. Doesn't matter. They won't clinch the first half. They get a chance to do it in the second half and a chance to build some more momentum. They're on the road against South Bend. It will be Humphreys that is on the mound. He has struggled this year from a win-loss rate. He's 0-6 with a 3.88 ERA. But again, South Bend just doesn't have a very good farm system down there.
Yep.
And then Lynchburg, again, already clinched the first half. Doesn't matter. But Augusta is fighting for a playoff spot. So on the road there in Augusta, your only affiliate at home this week is Columbus, Lake County, Akron, and Lynchburg, all on the road.
Yeah. And Guardians Insider just tweeted out the rotations for this week.
Whoa, let's look at it.
DeLucia, double bump day for Akron. or double bump week, I should say.
Oh,
Got
double
Denholm, then
bump week.
Boone, then Mace, and a TBD on Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to. Did you just list it for Akron, or did you go everyone?
I just did Akron.
You said it's not on his Instagram yet, so let me.
Up on X. I think he posts there first.
All right, here we go. For the Hillcats, it'll be Alfaro, then Hernandez. Zibin will start, and then Matson is coming in. Again, that's the weird little the pseudo bullpen start that they do. Braylon Doty is on Friday, Cam Walty, followed by Rafe Schlesinger on Saturday, and then it's double bump week for Alfaro. He'll get it on Sunday. You ran through the Ducks. I'll run through the captains. Again, Jackson Humphreys gets that start, then followed by Caden Favors on Wednesday, Josh Hartle Thursday, Yorman Gomez on Friday, Matt Wilkinson is your Saturday starter, and then again, double bump week for Humphreys. He goes Tuesday, Sunday. Tuesday, Sunday for the Ducks, I'll run through it again, is Dylan DeLucia. Great to see him excel in his Double-A debut, get rewarded with the double bump week this week. Then Trenton Denholm, then Rodney Boone, Tommy Mace, and then to be determined on Saturday, could we see Shane Bieber? Uh-oh.
Hopefully.
Doug Nikhazy, it's double bump week for him in Columbus. Parker Messick will kick things off on Wednesday, then followed by Ryan Webb, sort of a Lynchburg situation they're doing there. Austin Peterson on Thursday, Vince Velasquez Friday, Joey Cantillo to start, followed by Aaron Davenport on Saturday, and back around to Nikhazy on Sunday. Tristan McKenzie will be pitching in the ACL League, as well as Chase Mobley. So there you go.
Chase Mobley's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, Chase Mobley will then be followed by Zinn on Saturday. So should probably start paying a little bit more attention to the ACL Guardians. They got some ballers down there.
A little bit. We're going to see Chase Mobley. Bold prediction. We'll see him there in the playoff series for Lynchburg.
I'd probably agree with you. That's kind of the trajectory he's going. Now, where can they find you?
At McKelly Media for the personal, at Stark Sports Coverage for any off-season football stuff. Might get posting a little bit of that, a little bit of Summer League, just fill some content up. And where can they find you at, Nate?
At Tailgate Nate 29 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. If you add me, I'll add you back. That's just how that works. You can even email me, tailgate829@gmail.com. Find me at that handle, literally right there. You know, wherever you get your social media. Follow the podcast at Prospects Capital OTL. That's Prospects Capital OTL on Twitter and now on Instagram. Big, huge post. Thank you so much to Guardians Prospective and the Hillcats for collaborating on that. A ton of good engagement there. Please go give us some more engagement over on the Instagram. Same as the Twitter handle at Prospects Capital P, Capital OTL, and look us up on YouTube, Prospects of the Land. Just search it. You'll find the channel pretty easily. The number today, we'll go 43.
Off, but it was higher, 47.
Wow, hey.
Little championship show. Good.
Championship show is good. Hopefully next week is good. Better show up for Logan Petoskey. He will be sad if you don't. And when we find out a date and time to get a Lynchburg Hillcat player and or coach up here, it might be Monday, it might not. So stay tuned to the Twitter and Instagram. We'll have posts up there for all of you fine people. So yeah, about it. About it for me.
Like you said, I mean, updates on the Insta. That's why you got to go follow. We're going to have should have graphics. And then if you can't watch the whole show, maybe 1 week, we're going to start posting highlights, some clips of the show. Clips.
Yeah, we're going to figure things out and, do some little production meetings, if you will. But we'll get some content rolling out and get some clips going. So
get it going. Well, that's all I got.
You know what? Second half. Can we just say that? Start that second half.
Second half maybe of today's show because we talked about Lynchburg. Who knows? But, yeah, we'll do it. So, all right, my friend, get us out of here. All right. Well, we appreciate all 47 of you for joining us tonight. And should be back definitely Monday. Should be back at 7. So
Back
see.
at 7.
Logan Petoskey next week. See everybody later.